What's up, YouTube? Happy election day to you. Well, I just got back from voting a little while ago. See the little sticker? And now I'm gonna go rip some packs. But I figured, you know, every now and then on my channel I'll get a little political and I'll speak my opinion, I'll speak my mind. And I'm gonna do that today on this great, wonderful, traditional day of electing our next master. As some of you may or may not know, I'm primarily a libertarian. I'm not necessarily Republican or Democrat. I agree with policies on both sides of the platform. As a libertarian, you know, we believe primarily that government should be small. Government should leave you alone. You're a grown person, you're a responsible person, you're an adult, and you should be able to make your own mind up. You should be able to determine what's right for you, what's wrong for you. You should be able to, you know, make decisions for yourself. It's just a libertarian way. Don't hurt nobody. Defend yourself. Anyways, my rant is about the ballot. Here in Virginia, where I live, there's 3 names on our ballot for President of the United States of America for this election. 3 names. There's Donald Trump, there's Joe Biden, and there's Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate, that is also on the ballot in your state and every state in the United States of America. So my rant is basically about the lack of awareness. And you have only one, you really truly only have one organization to blame, and that's the media. A Libertarian candidate has been on the ballot in all 50 states, the whole country. Every single state you will see her name. Now other states you may see other people's names. There are some people that are running for president that you've never even heard of. You may have heard of Joe Jorgensen, but there's other people that you may have never heard of. But they're beyond the ballot in your state. While I understand that the mainstream media, the network of national news, they can't cover every single candidate, I suppose. They can't give them all equal treatment. But your local media can. If you're in New York, if you're in Tennessee, regardless of where you are, you have a local media there that has ignored your choices. They have blatantly and deceptively, intentionally left out another option. Why? For ratings, because they know that the 2 popular parties are going to bring in the most attention? Are they sacrificing their integrity and their dignity for ratings? Are they misinforming you? Or it's not really misinforming you, because they're not telling you something wrong. They're just leaving out a very important, vital piece of information and leaving you to choose between 2 options rather than 3 or 4 or however many more there could be in your state. And that's a very huge disservice to our country. I got a big problem with it. As a libertarian, seeing these elections every 4 years and watching the 3rd party candidate or the 4th party candidate or the 5th party candidate or any other party candidate other than Republican or Democrat get ignored, it's not right. And you've got a 3rd option that meets somewhat in the middle, and they're not assholes. They're not senile. They're not 70 years, 80 years old. There's not a risk of them dying during their term. She's actually got a PhD. She's a doctor. And you don't even get to hear about her. You might see some random article about it, but your local media completely ignores them in most cases. They're not supplying you with information like they should be. They're supplying you with what they think you want. And it's a disservice. I went to vote today. I got my ballot. I got my pen. Went over to my little booth, started filling out the little circles, and I got to the presidential one. And there she is, Joe Jorgensen. A very qualified, reasonable, sensible candidate for president of the United States of America. And then you have Joe Biden. He's been in politics over half his life. How do we expect him to be this big, great change bringer when he's been there his entire life? Republicans are right. He's been there for 47 years and hasn't done a damn thing. The black community is all over his balls. And why? Did you not see his policies back in the day, decades ago, where he was demanding that police tighten up and arrest more people. And I mean, he was targeting black communities, but y'all are all over his fucking nutsack. It makes no sense. And then you've got Donald Trump, one of the biggest assholes that have ever made it to politics. But you know what? He's not your typical career politician. I do sincerely believe he's there for the people. At least the people that he thinks wants to hear what he has to say. And many of them do. I guess what it comes down to is, you know, we've been fooled. Like, I started voting Libertarian about 3.5 elections ago. And I didn't even know there was such thing as a Libertarian. Republican and Democrat is all I ever knew. I'm 42 years old. I found out about libertarianism when I was in my late 20s. I have gone through half my life not even realizing there was a potential for other viewpoints, that there was a middle ground. And I'm not saying libertarianism is middle ground, because it's really not. It's not middle ground at all. There are some policies from the left that we agree with. There are some policies from the right that we agree with. But we are our own philosophy. Libertarianism is not really a party. It's a philosophy. A philosophy that we are free. That nobody grants us these rights but God, if you believe in God or a creator. But we are born with these rights. We're not given permission to have them. Our government doesn't say, this is what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to do them. And the government's job is to protect those rights. Not to write what you can and can't do, but to protect the rights that you are given from birth. And it's a disservice to humanity to not be given all of the alternatives, at least in your local area. Your local media should be always, if you've got 5 candidates for presidency, you should know about all of them. We've got to demand that our media stop focusing on red and blue. It bothers me so much, because libertarian candidates have offered so many great candidates with amazing experience. All right, I'm going to get out here at this park and start ripping the sky, but before I do yourself a favor. Google Ron Paul. Google the Libertarian Party. Google libertarian philosophy. Our country has really, we really led the fight for real, true liberty and freedom. Freedom from a king. But it seems like lately we're demanding that we be ruled again. We're demanding that the chains be put back on. And I don't understand that. In every election, we have multiple candidates, yet you're only shown 2 of them. You might see a glimpse of a third party here or there, but Republicans and Democrats, it's all you ever hear about. And in an election like this one here, where there's such a divisive, huge difference between the 2, and there's a middle ground. So as I casted my vote today, I did it with conscience. I did it knowing there were 3 options on my ballot. I did it knowing that I could pick either one of these. Neither one is a wrong vote. As long as I'm voting with my heart, with my soul, with what I know, with what I believe, with what I envision for our future, you can't go wrong. Every election, I go through this, and it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking, because at my state, we had 3 options. There are other states with 5 or 6 options, and they're not getting the exposure they deserve. They're running for the same office as a Republican or a Democrat, and nobody knows who they are. That is a disservice, especially in an election like this one. Anyways, guys, I hope you got out there and voted today. I hope you voted your conscience. I hope that hopefully we'll all survive the end of this election, and there won't be riots and crazy looting and, lynch mobs or anything like that. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to get out here and rip the sky. Peace.